Welcome back for another review, and I'm gonna talk about and I'm gonna give a retrospective review, and that of course is Demolition Man. The future isn't big enough for both of them, which I do have the poster. Look this poster. This is my retrospective review because I love this movie to death. But the poster is such a badass, such a cool poster, which I wanna show everyone. You know, the 21st century most dangerous cop, the 21st century most ruthless criminal, Demolition Man, Stallone, Snipes. The future isn't big enough for both of them. And I just want to show you that I do have the poster. Such a cool poster. I'm just gonna put this back because I really do love this poster. I mean, this is such a cool poster art, but I'm just going to return it. Like I said, I have the poster. It's now up there. I do have the Blu-ray. I do have this film on Blu-ray. Love this movie to death. In the back. And I also do have a copy of Demolition Man. Another copy, in case it happens to the original cover. I have another copy of this film. But I do have the Blu-ray. And Demolition Man, I want to talk about a long time ago. This is actually my personal favorite, a phenomenal, kick-ass, such a cool, badass film. Best science fiction film in my opinion. One of the best 90s action films of all time. It's actually my personal favorite Sylvester Stallone film. With Rambo films, but this is actually my favorite Sylvester Stallone film. Yes, my favorite Stallone film was always Demolition Man. And Cliffhanger's my second favorite. Third favorite, I would say First Blood, the first Rambo film. Number 4, definitely Cobra. Number 5, I'll say Rambo 3. And 6, I'll probably say Rambo 2008. 7, 8 will be Rocky 4, Rocky 3. Number 9, Lock Up, and 10 will definitely be Copland because because those are movies that I enjoy. Number 11, Rambo First Blood Part 2. But those are movies that I really enjoy. Now, Demolition Man is a science fiction, futuristic, badass 90s action films of all time. It's such a phenomenal film. It has everything: outliners, practical effects, explosions, gunfights, fist fights. Such a cool characters like John Spartan, and Simon Phoenix, Sylvester Stallone, and of course Wesley Snipes' best role. My favorite Wesley Snipes film is Demolition Man. His badass character, Simon Phoenix, ruthless criminal, a terrorist, and the most dangerous criminal of all time, a terrorist who kills people for fun. It's rated R, this film. This movie predicted the future, and it's such a phenomenal, kick-ass film. Sylvester Stallone and action star Arnold Schwarzenegger, they were both competitive each other because they were competitive who kills the most people on screen. And back in 1992, when the film Stop or My Mommy Should Be was released, was actually kind of hurt Sylvester Stallone's career. It isn't a huge burden in his career, but it kind of did. But that movie was really terrible and was bad idea that Sly did, but he was tricked by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the same year, Arnold did Last Action Hero, and I'm not saying it's okay, just I'm not fan of that film. I'm one of those people that's not fan of Last Action Hero, but I'm a fan of Demolition Man, and Demolition Man was actually Demolition Man and Cliffhanger saved Stallone because they're two best films. They're actually one of his 2 best films. Now, I really do wish that this movie will get a special edition. I wish that we could see the deleted scenes like Jesse Ventura, the fights between Sly and Jesse Ventura. I wish we could see that. That was deleted. I wish we could see more about his daughter, about John Spartan's daughter in the future. I really do miss that. And Sylvester Stallone's best role as John Spartan, beside Rambo, I'll say his best role. John Spartan is actually his best role. This is his best role. It's actually a character that I really do enjoy beside Rambo. I enjoy his character, Sergeant John Spartan, a detective in LA who wakes up and in the future, and like the societies now became a peaceful, but because a ruthless criminal blast from the past, Simon Phoenix escaped and starts killing people, and because the police officers nowadays are not they can't stop Phoenix. They can't stop him. You know, they're no match to Simon Phoenix. So now they unfroze and they rise from ashes. John Spartan, an old-fashioned cop. They need an old-fashioned cop to stop old-fashioned crime. And they now unfrozen John Spartan, and they give him a parole. And yeah, and of course they give him a price for freedom is to capture Dead or Alive. Of course they don't say that, but Dead or Alive, Simon Phoenix, and that's actually in his price for his freedom. And like I said, this movie is actually my favorite Sylvester Stallone film, but it's also my favorite science fiction action film. Actually, my favorite science fiction film. My top 3 science fiction films are this film. That's my number 1. I'm just gonna show you that's my number 1. Number 2, Predator 2. Number 3, Predator the original. Those are my top 3 favorite sci-fi films. And I wish that Demolition Man will have a fan base, but it doesn't have that much fan base in it. But I really do wish we will have a fan base. And this movie was like 1993. It was released 7 October 1993. Did not got anything. The budget was $57 million. And it only earned what? $1 million more, $85 million. I mean, it's like Predator 2 got $35 million the budget, but only earned $57 million. This movie cost that much as Predator 2 earned made the money. This movie made only $58 million, $1 million more than the budget cost. But it actually is a classic. I would say Demolition Man is a cult classic. It's a classic. It's a best of the best film. It's a phenomenal film. It's a kick-ass film. And like I said, it's my favorite science fiction film. And it's actually my second favorite action film. My favorite action film is Hard Target above Demolition Man. Demolition Man, my second favorite film, my second favorite action film, and of course my favorite Stallone film. That's one of the reasons why this is a retrospective review. I wanted to do that a long time for Stallone, but I really enjoyed Demolition Man. Back in 2015, I competed, which is my favorite, Demolition Man or Cliffhanger. But Demolition Man is actually my favorite because I enjoy the action. And like I said, you have great explosions, practical explosions, great outliners, great quotes, great screenplay, great cast, phenomenal cast, kick-ass action film. The movie was been directed by Marco Brambilla. I think this is actually his first direction that he did. He directed Excess Baggage, and he directed a few Dinotopia TV series episodes, but then that was actually for him. I wish that Marco Brambilla could do more movies because he was a talented director. His best direction, he was capable director. I think he did a great job. This movie is a satire, but it's not a bad, it's a good satire. And here's the thing, why Demolition Man doesn't have, why this movie doesn't have a fan base. I saw science fiction films that they have fan base. Jurassic Park has a fan base. RoboCop has a fan base. You know, the first Predator, not the second, the first Predator has a fan base. Aliens has a fan base. Alien has a fan base. Blade Runner has a fan base. There's so many fans. I mean, I see videos like RoboCop, everyone is fascinated with RoboCop. I'm fascinated with Demolition Man. Demolition Man is a kick-ass futuristic action film. I would say, in my opinion, surpasses Blade Runner, but that's just me. People will disagree. Oh, it's a satire. Look, people. If you are annoyed by its humor or Sandra Bullock joking, you know, in the film, I recommend that you like take the humor elements and comedy and Sandra Bullock out of the film, and you have a badass kick-ass film. Watch the teaser trailer. I'm gonna put that teaser trailer in the description box, and I'll try to put it on my on the end of the video. I tried to download the teaser trailer yesterday, but somehow YouTube downloader does not wanna download the teaser, because I wanted to put in this video when I do that, but Saleh can do that. But like I said, Demolition Man, I mean, I have a poster, I have like 2 Blu-rays. I mean, what else do you want? They have the Blu-ray and have the second Blu-ray. I mean, what else do you want? Because I'm a huge Stallone fan. My favorite action stars are Van Damme and Stallone. Stallone's my favorite. Second favorite, I'll say Van Damme. But Demolition Man is such a cool badass. It's such a badass film, in my opinion. I mean, they don't make them like this anymore. And I'm fascinated by how they actually make it, you know. And there are a lot of people like are complaining it's a violent. I mean, the same is with Predator 2. It's a violent, or it's a terrible sequel. Here it's like they don't like this film, or because it's science fiction film, or they don't like the violence in this film. I mean, I don't know what kind of movies are watching those people complaining. When I read it last night on IMDb, the reviews that gave 1 to this film, because I don't get it. But like I said, I love this movie to death. Yeah, you already know. I know I've been talking now about 30 minutes about the film, why it's so great, it's so awesome, but I didn't came to the best stuff yet. So the plot everyone already knows the plot. The Sergeant John Spartan, LA cop, he's actually a renegade. He's actually a kick-ass, rogue tough, badass renegade cop who breaks the rule, and so he breaks the rule how you say it, to finish the job, you know, that he was hired. And he's a rogue badass, a rogue cop that breaks rules, and he plays by his own rules. He's Sergeant John Spartan, but his nickname is the Demolition Man, which is actually the title, you know, Demolition Man. His nickname is the Demolition Man. For 2 years, he's been hunting a terrorist, a psychotic, sociopath, psycho killer who kills people, and he's a fucking psycho. Simon Phoenix, played by Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes has a blonde hair in this movie, but Wesley Snipes hated his color of his hair. Dennis Rodman loved his hair, so Dennis Rodman was painting the hair that Wesley Snipes had. After this movie was completed, Wesley Snipes shaved his head. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he's bald in the fan. But yeah, so for the past 2 years, Sergeant John Spartan, Demolition Man, is hunting down ruthless criminal Simon Phoenix, which is the most dangerous criminal. And after 2 years, finally John Spartan catches Simon Phoenix, but then he's been framed for actually framed for the murder of 30 passengers who were hostages. John Spartan is supposed to save them, but he let them die in order to save Phoenix. And now Spartan and Phoenix, they both they actually cryo oxygen frozen. Or they both go in a cryo prison, and they both get frozen. You know, they're like yeah, they're actually both, you know, they both cryo prison, they get frozen. And for the 36 years, because the year is 1996, November 20, 1996, and of course, now they both woken in August 3, 2032, which is a future. Now the future, Los Angeles doesn't exist anymore. Now it's San Angeles, and the society became now a peaceful, and there's no crimes anywhere. You know, I really would love to have that kind of future. But Simon Phoenix has been awoken, and because he knew the password, he escaped out of prison, killed people, and he keep continue people. And because the police officer nowadays, they're peacemakers, they're no match of those kind of crimes. So in order to stop Simon Phoenix and his ruthless murder spree, they are awoken, and they actually awoken. They revive Sergeant John Spartan, serving a cryo prison sentence with Phoenix, and yeah, from the 90s style, they need a old-fashioned cop, so they awoken and they revive Sergeant John Spartan. His chance for parole and for freedom is to stop Simon Phoenix, because he was the only one that bring him down, because no one could did the job. And Simon Phoenix, so now John Spartan is the only man that is matching of Simon Phoenix. And these two guys are battling, and I don't mind if these two guys battle in the future, because I do love that they both fight in the future. But yeah, but this is a badass film. Like I said, I don't mind it. I did not say it more, you know. But yeah, there's actor who played Dr. Raymond Cocteau. Nigel Hawthorne didn't get along. Neither of those two guys, or with Stallone or Snipes, he didn't get along with them. And also, yeah, the cryogenic freezing scene was actually Stallone's worst 5 hours he had on movie set. He was terrified when he was frozen. When you see he's frozen, that's such a great, cool special effects. I mean, this movie has great special effects. Hungarian science fiction writer István Németh says that most Demolition Man is based on his novel Holtak Harca, Fight of the Dead, published in the year 1986. In the novel, a terrorist and a counter-terrorism soldier are cryogenically frozen, then awaken in the 22nd century to find violence has been purged from society. 75% of his movie is identical to the book, and he didn't sue it because they would get away, because it will cost them more money. You know, it actually would cost him more money. So that's the reason why the novelist did not press charges against the Hollywood movie. But honestly, who fucking cares? I love this film to death. It's one of my favorite action movies ever. Stallone's best film. And like I said, it has tons of great action lines, great action film. Now, in the opening scene, John Spartan, like I said, is a renegade cop, which is actually one of his best roles Stallone played. He's in this helicopter, and like the helicopter's been found by a few people with machine guns, and such a cool presence, which was actually released from Warner Brothers and Joel Silver. I mean, I love this movie to death, man. Love. I love, incredible love. It's one of my personal favorite movies. In the open scene, we see Stallone and the actor Ambush Wright from Die Hard. He was in Die Hard. Remember him? He was FBI Johnson. It was him. He was FBI Johnson, Die Hard. And yeah, he's a pilot. Zachary Lamb, later Bill Cobbs in the future plays him. By Ambush Wright, he's actually a pilot, a cop, yeah. So when they ask, when the pilots ask what we're doing here, and Stallone shows up and says, "I'll tell you, you're doing a good deed." And a maniac, hijacked 30 passengers and took them as a hostage in the building. And I love when they ask him, I know who this maniac is, and they ask him, want to share with us? And he says, Simon Phoenix. And he goes and like puts the rope, and he bungee jumps and sets a maniac to catch one. And he goes with his gun, with his Beretta, and he jumps and goes like, Phoenix! And he jumps, it's a stunt double, but whoever was a stuntman who jumped out of the helicopter was ballsy. It was practical done. And like there's this guy, there's a terrorist with a machine gun firing Stallone's hand in, and he uses his gun and he goes bam bam bam, shoots the bad guy. He shoots him, kills the bad guy. He goes, kicks his rope, lands down, and he runs, and this guy uses machine gun, fires on Stallone. Stallone runs and goes and shoots the bad guy. Shoots the bad guy. He's like Batman this movie. John Spartan's a Batman this movie. And this guy uses machine gun, fires on Stallone. Stallone goes, fires back. He goes, jumps off the elevator. The guy with the machine gun goes, fires at him, misses him. Stallone breaks the window like a pure badass. He breaks the window. He jumps the window, and like this guy shows up. He's like Batman, like Michael Keaton. Batman goes, punches and kicks the shit. The guy, kicks the guy's ass, kills the fucking guy, breaks almost his neck, throws him on the stairs. Then he goes, this guy who was shooting the cars goes, kicks his ass, and he goes now to the hideout of Phoenix and says, "Don't move, Phoenix. We're the hostages. Fuck me." And there's like all this gasoline around, all the tankers of gasoline, and we see Wesley Snipes' cool costume, uses a knife, kicks all the barrels, the gasoline barrels, and I love when John Spartan goes and says, "Don't move, Phoenix. Well, the hostages, see." And I wrote the lines down. See, I told that CD, look, nobody comes down here. Postman figured out, policeman figured out, but the goddamn bus drivers just wouldn't listen. Last chance for this. We're hostages. The hostages, fuck you. This is between me and you. And Stallone goes like a pure badass in his Beretta and says, yeah, he's a pure badass, And he shows this actual practical effect of real. I miss this kind of movies, man. I miss this kind of movie. I want this movie fucking back, I want a movie like this today. Why can't we get movies like this today? And like he uses the I don't know how you call it, with that fire. He say he used that fire in the hand, and said, "I'm gonna light you up," and and says, "Is it cold or it's just me?" He actually lights cigarette, throws a cigarette, turns John Spartan on fire, and they just go and fight each other. And they're actually stuntmen, but a real fire. That is a real fire. And Stallone goes, kicks the guy's ass, with hostages, and the thermograph shows that they're only his head, there are no hostages. So, and Simon Phoenix is he's insane criminal, and he's like making fun of John Spartan, as a keep in mind, he runs, and we see a practical explosion. Whole building, they fucking built the whole building, it was for real. It wasn't a fake, it was a real practical effect. They blow the whole building to on real pieces, a real explosion. I mean, watch. They did that in Little Weapon 3, so they decided to do a bigger explosion, which they did. They actually, I'll say Demolition Man is better to me than Little Weapon 3 because it's much better 90s action film. They blow up whole building, a real explosion, and Stallone runs, that was done for real. And I forgot to mention, but when you see Stallone, that's actually such a cool scene. The open scene is such a badass scene. Like, he jumps, bungee jumping with a helicopter. Hard Boiled, John Woo's film, came out a year earlier, and you see Chow Yun-fat with a machine gun, I think Heckler and Koch, Chow Yun-fat goes with his automatic machine gun, Heckler and Koch, and bungee jumps and shoots the bad guys. This movie, Stallone with his Beretta pistol jumps out of the helicopter, and says, "Phoenix!" and himself and shoots the bad guys. And I love that scene when Stallone shoots two bad guys. That's the best scene he ever done, and fights off Simon Phoenix, and then he run. And I love the night scene, and like whole building explodes to pieces. It completely explodes. Why can't they destroy, and why can't they blow the building nowadays? I wonder that they blow the building nowadays. I mean, they don't make it won't be impossible to do that now without CGI. Every action movie has to have CGI. So it just won't be CGI. This is practical done. And so now Steve Kahn from Little Weapon films, who played, I think he played Sergeant Murphy, or was Lieutenant Murphy in Little Weapon films. He plays superior officer to Sylvester Stallone, and tells him, "John, you can't come down here, this Demolition Man." And John says, "It wasn't me, it was him." With hostages, there are no hostages. He must have started somewhere else. And Phoenix says, "Run again." You want to say something to scumbag? I love that. And this guy, I don't know who this fireman was, but this guy says, "Captain, there are bodies all over." And Phoenix says, "See, I told him, he didn't care. Oh, you sacrificed the passenger for yourself. See ya, what kind of person you are." And Captain says, if you have a lawyer, you could call him, and they just go on each other once again, and says, "See ya, sugar, honey, we're gonna bring quality time, not perfect, but yeah, they go again, and Spartan wants to kick his ass. And yeah, now he's sentenced to 17 years in cryo prison, and they now go cryo prison, and Spartan says, "Skip it, you have a cool title." And they frozen now, and like said, Stallone said it was his 5 hours, the most, it was like the most, his 5 hours, the worst 5 hours he had on movie set, and he was terrified. That was his worst experience being in the frozen scene. But such a great special practical effects. Special visual effects are so phenomenal in this movie. And now it's the year, we see August, actually we see November 20, now it's the year 2032, 3rd August, and we see Sandra Bullock, she plays Lena Huxley, And in the cryo prison, Simon Phoenix has been awoken from ashes in order to get a parole, but he knows, he goes and he knows somehow the how you call it, the password for the chains, and he says teddy bear, and he goes and kills the warden Smithers. He kills the guards. He like goes and sticks the warden Smithers' eye out and uses him, so identification, so he can get out. He goes get out, and he steals the car, and he tries to. He goes on a boulevard, and he knows he knows everything, the passwords, the types. He's like a hacker types. And they send, when the cops said murder, death, kill, they go and send 6 policemen. And like I said, Simon Phoenix, no problem, uses extra combat martial arts. And Wesley Snipes is so fast with his martial arts because he's a black belt that he had to slow down his punches because he was very fast, and he was in great shape of his life, just like Stallone. And now because he kills all 6 people, he goes and shows them out. He shows everyone out. He grabs the guy, destroys the police car, great practical explosion. So Lena Huxley asks how they actually Zachary Lamp, played by Bill Cobbs. He's now old, and she asks how they actually captured Simon Phoenix in the 90s, and of course says, and Zachary Lamp says they actually hunted him in 12 states, and no successful, but on the end only one man captured him, Sergeant John Spartan. We call him the Demolition Man. So Lena Huxley asked if they called and unfrozen him, and Bob Ganton from Broken Arrow plays Sergeant George Earl, actually Chief George Earl from this movie, Broken Arrow, Mr. Pritchett. Hush! That's him, Mr. Pritchett. Bob Ganton is in this movie. He's like in my 2 favorite movies, and like I said, so they awoken John Spartan after 36 years, and they give him they actually give him parole, and then he wakes up. Linda Huxley says, detective, where am I? And she tells them they're like this future. And she says, are you shitting me? And like the statue keeps talking, and someone says, what the hell is that? God, body's gonna fight. I was like laughing my ass off, There's also 3 C3 shells in this movie. So George gives him parole. He has to go and capture Simon Phoenix, and says, because they tell him this morning Simon Phoenix escaped, and they need him, so that he goes and stop them. And says, I actually wrote somewhere down, and says, caveman, let's finish with the ribbon, Hinckley, and get moving. Our Mr. Phoenix is rising from the ashes. And John Spartan says, I tracked that dirtbag for 2 years, and then I finally bring him down. You turn me into Ice Cube. Thanks, but no thanks. You do that, or you go back to the Ice Cube, And in meantime, I love when for Simon Phoenix, he's actually looking the guns, and he goes to museum, and there's this guy, he goes kicks this guy in the museum. I love that scene in the museum. That's such a badass cool scene. And I love when Stallone says, I hate to break your lovebirds, but that's a fucking pretty stupid. You think he wants the business? He's looking for a gun. Trust me, he's looking for a gun. And George says, He says, "You dirty meat eater!" You dirty meat eater. Who knows what this primate means? I mean, Bob Gunter was fantastic in this movie. Just like he was a broken arrow in the middle. Did you see, Mr. Pritchett? This out of control. Oh my god, I love Bob Gunter. He was also 24. I love the actor in this movie as Chief Judge Earl. And of course they go to museum. We also see Benjamin Bratt is in this movie. Benjamin Bratt was he collaborated with Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality. I do have that film. I don't know his character. I did not pay attention for his character. So in the meantime, Phoenix, he goes, breaks into museum, steals the weapons. Like this guy, Gritus, what's your bugle? My bugle. How much do you weigh? It grabs the guy, throws it, breaks the stuff, steals the shotgun, 12 gauge shotgun. He steals, he goes and steals shotgun. Remington 870 small shotgun, and he goes and he uses that futuristic rifle. And I wrote down, but it was such an electromagnetic pulse rifle, but I can't find it. I wrote down on my note, Heckler & Koch G11, an experimental rifle, futuristic magnetic pulse rifle, and that's actually Heckler & Koch G11 experimental rifle, futuristic magnetic pulse rifle. Was the first time seeing this film. So that's actually the rifle that he uses. And when John Spartan goes in the museum, he goes and destroys the glass with a shotgun. And I'm a blast for the blast. You should stay there. Who's that voice? Sound familiar? He goes and like fires and says, "Spartan, John Spartan, what the hell are you doing here?" And Simon says, "Bleed." And I love when Stuntman Stallone goes and jumps, he goes and grabs two shotgun, and he goes and grabs two shotguns, and actually a shotgun, he grabs a shotgun, Remington Spartan 12 gauge, which is actually double barrel. It was only two barrels. You make it too easy for me. He goes and grabs the shotgun and goes and destroys the museum. and Simon Phoenix grabs his guns, goes shoots on Spartan. Spartan goes shoots back, and he goes. Shoots the lights down, the guy falls down, and there's also, that was actually real stuntman, actually real Stallone when Simon Phoenix goes and blows with his automatic the glasses. That was actually real Stallone, because I hear Stallone's voice, so it was Stallone who fall down. And it's like great scene, and there's like great scene, and he uses magnetic rifle, and says, blast from the past, shoots him with that magnetic rifle, with that futuristic rifle, shoots him, but misses him, there's a great explosion, and Stallone goes and fights him, he kicks him, starts fighting, and I love the scene when Wesley Snipes really punches him, he punches him, Stallone goes, fights him off, he uses that tool, come on, he goes, Stallone goes, punches in the back, punches in the face, and they like fight each other, and he uses that stick, that's the futuristic stick. He goes to the water, electrocutes Snipes, Phoenix, and Phoenix says to that Spartan, you forgot to say, Simon says, and of course, sorry, gotta go, and shoots him again with the rifle. Misses Stallone. He escapes, and Stallone goes after him and says, "Phoenix," shoots him. Phoenix tries to shoot Cocteau, and that guy Bob tries to shoot them, but misses him. Phoenix escapes, and now because George Spartan saved Nigel Houghton, Dr. Raymond Cocteau. He's a mayor of San Angeles. He was the one that created, after the riots, he created the Society of the Purge and Peace, and he created San Angeles. He's a mayor of the city Los Angeles, San Angeles, and he invites Spartan and Linda Huxley to Pizza Hut, because the only restaurant in town that's really state, So now we see future, beautiful future, great cars. I love how they did, how the models they created the cars. The future cars they created, and and of course, like John Spartan, he wants to have a virtual sex with Sandra Bullock, but he didn't even touch it, and she kicks him out of the apartment. He sees this girl, he's like, and this like blonde babe with boobs. Oh, that matter is so. And he's like he like makes that sweater, and and just awesome, Or when Stallone, Benjamin Bratt, and Sandra Bullock are driving, they like listen to his music. And Stallone says, "Someone put me back in the fridge." I love that line. So because when they find out that Simon Phoenix has martial arts, that he wears a program of terrorists, a real terrorist, and he finds out that Raymond Cocteau with a laser disc, Raymond Cocteau is the one who's actually awoken this maniac. He's not having control this maniac. And I love it. Stallone goes to Cocteau and uses his gun and goes and fires him, sorry about that. He goes and fires him, and this guy, he says, "Be well," and Stallone for the first time says, "Be fucked," and shoots him, but misses him. But that is so awesome, because he was like shooting the guy and be fucked. And I just did wrote Cocteau's lines like he said, "You, my Cro-Magnon friend, are dead. Your family is dead. Your past is dead." And that's actually my favorite scene, the line that Nigel Houghton says, "You, my Cro-Magnon friend, are dead. Your family is dead. Your past is dead." And I think he says, "You're gonna go back to Cryo," and she says, "Arrest him, officer," and he says, "Be well," and John Spartan says, "Be fucked," and misses, but his secretary Bob falls down. And also the Pizza Hut, I forgot to mention, they're like riots. People are stealing stuff, and I love when Stallone says, "You're gonna be sorry both seconds." He kicks the guy's ass as he did his Leary. The guy says, "What a fucking hero," And then Spartan finds out they were actually stealing food. And in order to get this maniac, they actually go down, and it turns out it answers the motives for Cocteau awoken Phoenix is order. He wants to get killed, the guy who caused them scraps, and that's the leader, Edgar Friendly, played by Dennis Leary. So John Spartan, Linda Huxley, and of course Benjamin Bratt, they go down in the sewer to find Phoenix, and they both find like the car, antique 1970 Oldsmobile 4042, and he says like John Spartan asks her, "Do you know what the Huxley, do you know what it is?" And she tells him like Oldsmobile 1970, antique which is actually a 44-2, and that's awesome. Yeah, and of course, this guy Fringley shows up, and says, so you want to arrest me? Tell Cocteau, thanks or no thanks, he can kiss my ass, kiss my ass. I want to drag you anywhere, pal. I want to pray, pal. I want to drag you anywhere. I know who you are. Stated, be well, and Hato is an asshole. He's an ass, or he said he's an asshole. And I just love that. Hey, you're the guy now and then, and like they talk each other, and of course we see Simon Phoenix now with Dr. Raymond Cocteau. He awoken a few criminals, and they go and fire each other. It's another great scene, and like Adam Fringley grabs that guy, shoots the gun, and shoots the bridge in which Phoenix lands, and of course now he goes, and that's another great scene when Phoenix runs, and Stallone grabs his Beretta, and while Phoenix is climbing up, he goes, Phoenix, and keeps shooting, keeps shooting with his gun. And they actually go in the elevator. Huxley and Spartan, they go in the elevator. They go with the elevator scene. They go with the car while Phoenix steals police futuristic car. He escapes the futuristic car, and we have a great car chase. And Stallone grabs a gun, shoots him, destroys his tire. But Phoenix says, change tire. Like the tire keeps getting new. And there's a stuntman, but that is done for real. A stuntman was holding on a hood, and he jumps. You see Stallone, but it's actually a stuntman who jumps on the car, and they keeps fighting each other. And he tells him, this hostage is like already dead, cold as ice, and says, you're dead, Spartan. And he says, speak for yourself, throws out of the car, and that's a great scene, a lot of scene, they're like fighting on this car, and like the door falls down, they're fighting on Linux, actually, futuristic police car, and says, you're dead, Spartan. And Stallone says, speak for yourself, throws out of the car, and I love that scene, and he goes in the car, brake, emergency, brake, you Mickey Mouse piece of shit! And he keeps flying in the police station, in the water, and he gets saved, by that rubber, that like snow rubber. He gets saved, like ice rubber, And he goes, when Edgar Fringley, his man, shows up, in the cops, and John Shore says, that's it, say alert, and Spartan, you're arrested. And I love it. John says, no, I'm not, and he says, Lena Hussey can't go, and Lena says, Chief, you can take this job and shower it. And he goes, take this job and shower it, close it up. Or there's like scene when Sandra Bullock says, Simon finished some competition. He's finally met his match. You really lick his ass. That's met his match. And kicked his ass. Met his match and kicked his ass. Or like in the sewer, and she says, okay, I'm with you. You wanna restaurant to go to? Okay, I'm with you. Let's blow this guy. Then he goes like, shows that's so it says, away. Blow this guy away. And she's like, whatever. She's so hot and such a sexy mom. I mean, Sandra Bullock is such a hot, sexy mama. She was like, a year later she did Speed. Samantha Matthews from Broken Arrow in the Middle East. She asked Sandra Bullock for advice because this is actually her first action film that she did. So that's awesome, I love Sandra Bullock. She's so hot. I mean, what a babe. She's a babe. She's still beautiful. She's a gorgeous diva. She's a goddess among earth, in my opinion. That's her best role, Lena Huxley. We also see the poster in her office, like Little Weapon 3. There's this band Bomb. She's like for let's go for the old action. I want some old-fashioned action, and she's like love the 20th country, the 20th century, style. She loved the old 20th century style. Who doesn't? And we like now the 21st century style. But there's like scene in cryo prison, which Lena Huxley and Spartan now go to cryo prison, and they find out that Raymond Cocteau is dead because Simon Phoenix, his man, killed him. Simon Phoenix is now unfrozen, awakened 80 ruthless criminals, and when Lena Huxley tells him, they're gonna awaken 80 criminal, and yeah, they're actually gonna awaken 80 criminals, and says Sparta that those are real bad boys, and she says most of them doesn't like you, and he says most of them doesn't even like their own mothers, and they now try to stop Simon Phoenix, but two men show jumps, and Stallone goes, kicks the guy's ass, and Sandra Bullock kicks the guy, great choreography. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Sandra Bullock trained, she goes and kicks the guy's ass. She's a badass. She's like a badass girl. She kicks the guy's ass, and the guy tries to stab Spartan. She grabs the gun and shoots him. She saves Spartan alive, and then he uses the stick, and he puts the stick. He says, "I hope you understand." He grabs the hat, like a badass, that hat, and says, "Send a maniac to catch a maniac." I love that line scene. And he goes in the car. He goes. He drives a car. He goes to the gun. He goes to cryo prison, and he finds out that Phoenix killed like all the scientists because he's awakened the criminals. And Stallone goes, and he shoots something, and he starts firing, and of course Phoenix goes, shoots him back with his automatic weapon. Bravo AK-47 shoots him back, and I love that scene. Sylvester Stallone had two guns. One of them was actually a Beretta 92 FC. The other one was Smith and I think was Smith and Wesson 3914 was actually Smith and Wesson, but he had like two guns in one Beretta, the other just like Van Damme had in this movie. Hard Target. He had like two guns. He's jammed with the gun and fires. Bam, bam, bam. That's my favorite scene, with Beretta fires on him, and when Bob and Phoenix run, he goes, fires, bam, 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 bam. He keeps firing them, and fire one gun, but gets captured with that machine, he with the remote control in that machine captures. He goes and captures John Spartan, tries to freeze him, but keeps shooting with Uzi Phoenix, but misses him, and Spartan breaks a pipe, and he makes like all the lies, breaks the machine, and there's another great futuristic weapon that Phoenix uses, but misses Spartan. Stallone runs and blows Spartan, and makes an explosion, and they go fight, and I love it. Stallone says, "Is it cold here? Was it just me?" And Phoenix says, "Good memory." They're like fight each other again. A great fight scene. There's a great fight scene. And Phoenix almost overpowers John Spartan. Then he says, "This is the best. This is the best in my life." Tries to kill him, but he grabs, that stick. He grabs that stick and punches that stick, and everything's like ice, and now like Simon Phoenix goes all ice, and he goes, and Stallone turns around and says, "Heads up," and kicks his cat, and he kills Phoenix. Love that scene. Better than Terminator 2 Judgment Day, I love this movie more than T2. I love this movie more. And there's a practical explosion. Another building explodes, and Spartan runs, breaks the bars, escapes. There's a practical explosion, another explosion, great explosion, a badass explosion. I mean, they don't make it like this anymore, and now because it's over, and I love when John Spartan, finally the future is safe, and John Spartan tells to Friendly and Chief George Earl, they're gonna figure it out. Says you get a little dirty, you get a little clean, you gotta figure it out. And like Selena Huxley says, I thought we were a team, we are. And he goes, kisses her, and she goes and kisses him back, and he gets the girl, and he still 3 shells, and the movie ends. The beautiful music score, music soundtrack by Sting, Demolition Man. I love that song, my favorite song, Demolition Man. Demolition Man, love that song. And I love this movie to death. It's my favorite sci-fi action film. The action scenes are great done. So as we have a cast besides Stallone, Snipes, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Leary, Nigel Houghton, Bob Gunton. Nigel Houghton, Bob Gunton, Dennis Leary. I think Jack Black is one of the scenes. I'm not sure. Benjamin Bratt. The all cast, they did great job. Nigel Houghton did not get along with none of the stars. The action scenes are well done. The open scene is such a badass. The teaser, watch the teaser trailer. The teaser trailer is such a badass, The narration is great. I think there is, I wish that I could see the special edition with the scenes that are deleted. I mean, fuck, T2 has special edition with the latest scenes. Aliens has special edition. Why no Demolition Man? This movie is not even released. This movie is not even released in 4K. Why is that this movie released in 4K? Why is that 4K? Why? I wish there would be audio commentary with Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, and Sandra Bullock. There's no audio commentary. No. There's no special edition, no interviews, no scenes. This movie has jack shit from the cast. It's like forgotten, underrated science fiction film. I love this movie more than T2 or Blade Runner or RoboCop or even I love Predator 1 and 2, but I put this movie above them. I mean, I miss, even Total Recall has a fan base. This movie deserves a fucking fan base. I'm a biggest fan of Demolition Man. I have like 2 Blu-rays. Yeah, 2 Blu-rays. I do have a poster. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, I love the music score by Elliot Goldenthal. He later, Elliot Goldenthal did the music score. He later put it in Batman Forever. I love the music score by Elliot Goldenthal. Marco Brambilla, fantastic director. He did great job directing. I miss the guy. 6.7 on IMDb does not deserve it. The open scene is a badass. I mean, when Sylvester Stallone's character jumps off the helicopter, hangs himself, and he goes and shoots. He goes and keeps shooting. He goes and keeps shooting. Like this guy with the auto machine gun starts shooting on Stallone, and with Hackle Cock, Stallone goes and shoots and kills the guy. He kicks himself. Kicks himself down. He keeps kicking. He's like, this guy keeps firing with a machine gun, and he goes and runs. He goes and runs, and he goes and fires. He keeps firing, shoots the bad guy, kills him. He slides down the elevator. That's my favorite scene. The guy keeps shooting with the machine gun, misses him. He goes and breaks the window like a badass. I love that scene in the building. He goes and kicks the guy, breaks his leg, throws it out of the stairs. Goes the guy who shoots on the cops. He goes and kicks him like a Batman. He's like Batman. The open scene. He goes, confronts eye to eye Simon Phoenix after 2 years, and says, last chance, Phyllis, for the hostages. And hostages are, fuck, it's between you and me. And the light, what are you gonna do, soldier boy? And he used that. He used that lit torch, He used that lit torch and smokes a cigarette, shows a cigarette, and his guys fall down the fire. A real practical effect. I want this movie, man. I love this fucking movie. I love this movie, man. I love this movie. The open scene is such a cool scene. It's such a badass, cool fantastic, phenomenal Szene. And not phenomenal, the whole movie is completely phenomenal, fantastic film. It's a fantastic, I'm fascinated with this film. Demolition Man predicted a lot of future, like Taco Bell, being a Pizza Hut, or like the curfew, the police curfew. No sexual contact, no contact was allowed this year. I mean, stores were closing, like all the stores were like closing, everyone was like closing, it predicted a lot of stuff that Demolition Man really predicted the future. And like in 11 years is gonna be 2032. And I just love how they filmed. I mean, I miss this kind of movies, man. I just love this movie. I love this movie. And he fights off Simon Phoenix, grabs Simon Phoenix, run away, whole building explodes, practical effect. They really demolished a scene. I love that. They demolished the whole building. They destroyed the whole building just like in Little Weapon 3. That's why I was even poster, and Joel Silver was producer in this movie. He was producer in this film, Die Hard, producer on this film, Roadhouse. And yeah, Joel Silver did produce a lot of good films. And they blow real practical effect. There's no CGI. All practical. The action scenes are fantastic. The car chase scene in which stuntman, Stallone jumps on the car, fights off Phoenix. They're like both fighting each other, grabs the Phoenix, throws it out to the car. I love that scene. It was a badass scene. He drives the car, says, "Break, you piece of, you Mickey Mouse piece of shit." I love that scene. And he keeps fighting. I just love that scene. I love that scene. Or the finale scene when he fights, Simon Phoenix, and he goes heads up and kicks his guy's head, and whole cryo prison gets blown to pieces, explodes. I love that scene. Like cryo prison was also mentioned. Jason X from Friday 13, I think was the 10th film. That's the 10th film in the franchise. It also Virtuosity also stole the plot line from Demolition Man. And Demolitionist stole the plot line from RoboCop. Also stole the line from Demolition Man. And yeah, it's rated R. I mean, it's bloody, it's rated R. The characters, it's a phenomenal science fiction, kick-ass action film. Such a badass film. I mean, one of my favorite films of all time. So that's one of my retrospective review. Retrospective stuff are actually the action scenes, the open scene, the museum scene. In the museum, he keeps fighting, in the museum keeps fighting. I kind of miss in the museum keeps Simon says Simon bleed, keeps firing with his gun but misses him, and the stuntman jumps, and he crawls. Must be a military stuntman because he knows how to crawl. And he uses shotgun and keeps bad aim, blinding. He goes, shoots the guy. That's such a great retrospective scenes, action scenes, great performance, great lines. Someone put me in the fridge. And I love the scene, okay, man, let's finish with the ribbon hickle and get moving. And Mr. Phoenix has risen from the ashes. I tracked that dirtbag for 2 years, and when I finally bring him down, you turn me into an ice cube. Thanks or no thanks. Someone puts me back in the fridge. Why not just show a leash up my ass, you dirty meat eater? But yeah. You, my cryo magnum friend, are dead. Your family's dead. Your past is dead. You're gonna back. Be well, be fucked. I love that scene. Or that scene. Or the statue that speaks. Thanks a lot, you shit brain packed face ball breaking dark fucking pain in the ass. And that statue keeps saying, John Spartan, you are fined 5 credits for repeated violations of the verbal morality statute. And that's kind of really did predicted because there were really lots of fines, for COVID-19 last year. There was a police curfew, no hanging around, what are you gonna find? that really did. Demolition Man really did predict the future. I'm not kidding. But great. I forgot to say it, but screenplay was written by Daniel Waters, Robert Renew, and Peter M. Lenko. All respectively did a great job writing story, predicted everything. I mean, I wish we all had a piece of society, or we don't have virtual sex, we don't have 3 seashells. But it kind of did predict that, 11 years later it's gonna be 2032. We're now 2021. And I'm still fascinated with this movie. I'm fascinated with this movie. How awesome, how badass this film is, But yeah, that's 1 hour 40 minutes, 1 hour 5 minutes in the review. That's my movie review and my retrospective review on one of my personal favorite science fiction action films of all time. It's my favorite science fiction film. It's my second favorite action film with Hard Target and Predator 2. Number 4, definitely Broken Arrow down there in the middle. 5, Die Hard. 6, GoldenEye. 7, I'll probably say Cliffhanger. 8, Predator. 9, Die Hard: The Vengeance. And 10, Universal Soldier. 11, Under Siege. And 12, 13, Cyborg Kickboxer. Number 14, I'll probably say About the Law. I don't know, number 15, I don't know, number 15, but yeah, but those are my movies, This is my movie, it's rated there. I love this movie more than T2, I love this movie more than RoboCop or any of science fiction film. It's not 80s, it's one of the best 90s action films, but I'm a huge fan of this movie. Anyway, that's my movie review and retrospective review on one of my personal favorite action films of all time, Demolition Man. Sorry it's that long. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. It's my definite review. You can skip it, but I love this movie to death. Anyway, I'm out. Peace, and I'll see you next time when I review a new movie. I'm out.